Okay, so let's go there. So you have a hard time believing compliments, right? So people say things to you and you just blow it off. You do, again, the gracious, appropriately, socially appropriate thing, right? But you're like, whatever, bullshit. Okay, keep moving, right? Like, because it's not, right? You think they're stuck on Band-Aid because Band-Aid's stuck on. They just, the packaging, okay, it's not Tiffany's, just keep moving, right? But
Very
a really, yeah, no, trust me, I got your signature, I know.
All right.
Okay, so sign your name.
Okay, let's see.
I love it. Okay. So,
Tell me how sad I am.
I love that. Okay, so, I love this. Let's just go. Okay. So, so while I've met you for just a few seconds, we've not met before here. I just want to make that
Right,
clear.
yeah, it's the first time we met.
Okay, so because it's always fun when someone does some of this and they're like, it's a plant, right? So, so besides just having met you, you are a very outgoing person. So how you feel safest is when you're talking, right? So,
Oh my gosh.
So, part of it is like, just because you're outgoing and you love connecting with people that way, and that's how you feel like you put other people at ease. It's also how you feel most at ease, and it also distracts. So you are a very private person for as outgoing as you are. So what really matters to you, the things that concern you are your private business, are very much your private business. And if you get cornered, you'll tell someone to back off. You'll tell someone where the bear goes in the woods. But you are not, like, you have no compunction with that, but you'd rather not have to do that, right? So you'll finesse it, you'll be outgoing, and you do have a sense of humor, and you're willing to laugh at yourself and others. You naturally intelligent, right? You're not really good at being self-disciplined about it, right? So in an academic setting, you're not always the best at pushing yourself hard that way, but you've gotten away with it because you're super smart. So like, you give a C plus B effort and you pull A's a lot of times. And you're very people smart too. So intuitively, from very, very young, adults have trusted you, will put you, even though you act like the clown and do the things, they can see you have a tender heart. They can see you have a really good moral compass, like sincerely. You joke. If you found out it hurt someone, that would undermine your sanity. Like, that's not okay. You really, really care about people on a much deeper than surface way. And in fact, there's not a lot of middle ground for you. So you're either all in or you're all out. So you have what I call a lot of warm acquaintances, and they would call you a friend. They would call you like really close, and you're like, I know them. Like, it's not meant to be mean. It's just that you're not sharing your business like they think you're sharing.
You can tell from just looking at my signature.
I told you. I did warn you. There was a warning before we started. I did warn them.
So not many people can tell that I'm like pretty like.
No, you're super tight
You're like,
with like your business is like, you can count on one hand the number of people you really, really share your business with. And these are people who have to be deliberate. So like, you put people through what I call the emotional obstacle course. And it's a lot of it really, in all honesty, is subconscious for you. Like, you're not, it's not contrived. It's not like, it's sometimes you just do it really. In fact, the majority of the time, if I were to put a percentage on it, I'd say like 80-90% is just inadvertent. It's just what you do. So someone asks you how you're doing, you are always fine with a capital F, like all caps, like, I am fine. And it's not phony. It's not, you just, your default is not to unload what's bothering you emotionally. Like, you process it, you chew on it. Someone says something to you that really hurts, and you usually good at brushing things aside. Like, but if it gets under your skin, if it hits in the spot that you're already self-critical about, that's where it will affect. It isn't really about what other people think about you. It's what you think about you that is the most dangerous, I guess, or where you're most vulnerable, right? Like, super self-critical, it's never good enough, right? So you have this level of expectation in those areas that are important to you. It's not everywhere. It's not all the things. There's a lot of stuff you're like, hey, be in blend. What do you want to do? I'm easy going, right? But the things that do matter to you are like, you will bleed and die on this mount. Like, raise that flag and have that moment. We're burning it down, and like, literally, it's, Custer's last stand. We're like, and they all die. Like, really, really, truly. And the thing about that is, super loyal. That's that same spot where that, like, I don't want to call it stubbornness. we'll say it, decidedness,
You can say
right?
stubbornness.
No, because I don't even think it's that so much, right? Like there are reasons. It's not just like I said it, so that's so let it be written, so let it be said, so let it be done. Like there are reasons for like no, this is just where it is for me, and that's it. Like, and I can't move, and I'm not even gonna explain that to you because you have to count enough for me to have to explain that to you. Like so, but loyalty is a big thing for you, and like and faithfulness too. So like you will just be like in the dating scene, you will just date and be like, we're just dating, and this isn't. I'll tell you if it's a relationship, or if you're asking that you have your answer. I would have told you already, like literally. Okay. So here's an interesting thing, okay? You had a pretty difficult childhood growing up, and in a lot of ways, you really feel like you raised yourself. So and in some ways, those who were in charge of you, like you were looking out for their needs, in ways that maybe, let me not put that word on it, but that maybe a kid shouldn't have to, right? Like you were very mindful from very young about how everyone was doing around you. So this sense of like, so you have 3 things. Your name's underlined. You have an umbrella, and then your name's almost encircled, right?
I did them all.
Okay, right. So you've got like 3 really big. They're powerful statements, right? The underline is about feeling like I depend on me and I depend on me. So asking for favors. No, especially when you really need it. No, I'm fine. Oh, shoot. Okay, yeah, you are. But that, and then the umbrella. So there are all these people that you get along well with, and you would stop to help a complete stranger. That's who you are. You love people, right? But there's all the warm acquaintances, right? And all the people who have they've received real great kindnesses from you, this genuine warmth. They're attracted to the charisma, the intellect, the fun spirit, right? And that's genuine, that's real, that's you, right? That'll transmit on camera. People be like, she's so nailed that, right? But really, there's everyone else, and then there's family that you're born to, and family you've chosen, and their family, like, and you feel very protective of them, like no, they're mine, so now they're in my balloon, they're in my boat, that's it. Like whatever I got to do to protect that, they're mine. And it's not a possessive, like you are mine now, like ownership, but more like, no, now you matter enough that you matter to me more than me. Do you know what I'm saying?
I call it my wolf pack.
Okay. Yeah, and
like
so
I
think that's very funny, right?
You're the tribe now.
Yeah, like, so now they're yours, right? And that is about that loyalty, but it's also about how tenderhearted you are. So when I was talking earlier about all or nothing at all, right? You do really good at just going along on the treadmill of life, right? Get up, I got the schedule, running here, I'm running there. Part of what you do is to keep yourself busy, right? Because if you hold still, then you have to process the things that you haven't completely dealt with. Okay? Oh, no. From really young, from all sorts of things, right? So when things really hurt you, you're like, just keep moving, right? Just keep swimming. Like, but no, for real, just keep moving, right? So that is your, default is to just, if I don't hold still, it won't get me. Like the elephant isn't in the corner dropping so many quarter tonnage of fertilizer, and that it puts off gas in an enclosed space. And if you light a match, one little spark, and we're going, right? So like when things finally hit you emotionally, they hit you like a tsunami, right? And you've layered up, right? I don't profess to have any kind of psychological degree, but there's like, they'll call it misplaced aggression, right? When you carried an emotion over from another situation, right? And then you're finally your tipping point, right? I'm sure there's some other appropriate phrase, but you stock up, right? Because you just like crying is your like, it'd be right there with like nausea, one of your least favorite. You're like, I'm not wanting to do that. I am just not throwing up, crying. I don't know. A part of it has to do with this, like, because you are tenderhearted and you don't feel things half measure. So you're really good at shutting down and just going on autopilot. And I'm cruising up here on the surface, and there's all this like, man, like one of those slice of life pictures they used to make back in the 80s of like the ocean, and you see the little dolphin on the, and it's playing, and then all the way down to the bottom of the, right? Like where you are at is way down on the deep end, and someone's got to have scuba gear to get with where you're at, right?
Oh, interesting.
And so people asking permission with you, the person who gets to know you, really truly gets to know you, gets in and gets close, is someone who doesn't ask permission, who does it not because they're trying to use you, get something from you. They're just like, no, you're my people, I get it. Like we're supposed to be friends. And they just, if they ask how you're doing, you're always going to say fine, so they don't ask, so watch, right? So if they give you something, like you're not really about things, it's about time spent on you and about, so the communication, the gift, whatever it is that they're doing, however they're showing up and interacting with you in your life, has to make the statement, no, I see you. Like at the bottom of it all, I see you. I know, like, I bring you candy and you don't like candy, it's like, well, thanks, because you're going to be gracious because that's who you are, right? So you're going to do the socially appropriate thing. And some part of you is like, yeah, because you don't know that I'm like, training for something and I'm, whatever, right? Like who you are is watching, like all the unspoken communication that goes on. And that's who you've been from very, very young. So like somebody who shows up for you, who just gets you, and who just keeps showing up for you, so important, right? Like, that's the person who gets in, like you just, because you don't have to explain. Like, if I gotta explain to you who I am, I'm barely getting who I am. How am I gonna give it to you, right? And some part of you feels like that. Like some part, like you know all the high peaks, but you're like, if I focus too hard, I'm gonna have to feel a lot of the things I've gone through, and I'm not trying to go back there. I'm not trying to revisit. I'm just trying to keep moving. I survived it. That was enough. We don't need a replay, right? You were a little bit of a runner. You have a hard time committing, right? And it's not even the fear of like, oh, what if the next best thing comes along? It's the unless they make you feel safe, unless they make you feel grounded, and it's the claustrophobia of it. Like you don't get to decide for me, I decide for me. And that feeling of you on lockdown, not okay. Like you have to, in any given situation, you have no desire to control anyone else, but you definitely have to have control of yourself. So like, oh, funny thing, you love knowing all the rules. You want to know what's expected, what are all the rules, how's this going to play out, right? And the reason why is because you're looking for the loophole. You always know, if you've got to, you always know the way out, like closest exit, so to speak. Maybe even physically, but definitely emotionally, right?
Interesting.
It's your personal protection, right? I love this. Okay, super, super smart. So you have a difficult time writing out like notes and things like that. You do much better typing. Your hands cannot keep up with your brain. So like you'll think of something, if you really want to write something, you want to do something. If you start writing and you go back and you read your notes, there are words missing. Also too, you have a real love for learning. So you'll start a lot of projects that don't get finished. That's not about a lack of ability to finish what you start so much as, although you do beat yourself up for that at some point internally, like, oh, I should finish that. I should do. And part of it is you started it, you learned what you wanted to from it, and it lost its usefulness for you, right? The biggest thing on everything is that some of that keep busy, don't hold still, just keep busy, is how you deal with when the emotions get too much, right? And that's why when I was talking earlier and I said they catch up to you like a tsunami, part of that is about like if I keep moving and I just keep busy, then I won't have time to stop and think about that and process, right? And it'll layer up until the pressure cooker's reached its point, and now you either gotta let off steam or it blows, right? And you're not like, anger is not your way. Like when you get angry, you can get angry, let's be clear, but that's not like the vast majority of the time. Anger is not going to be your come from, right? You'll make a joke of it, you'll blow it off, you'll just flake if that's literally what you got to do, not have to deal with someone before you'll just blow up and get ugly. It's the emotional side, right? because you care too much. There's no middle ground for you. It's all in, and we're in the lava pits or we're in the frozen tundra. You know, you don't get to chill out on the beach at a balmy 75 degrees, right? Like, you are passionate as a personality, right? So, physical situations. Like you like to be in control here, right?
Let's go there.
You like to be in control. It's not even like, it's just like, man, I know how to. Yeah, I'll just leave that there. But yeah, I love this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's a certain, like, you are not quick to criticize your family, right? Like, that's not something that you really allow yourself to do. There's a certain measure of guilt, right? Like, if at some point you say that you didn't get what you needed,
oh, gotcha.
growing up, that seems to be a disloyalty, right? Like that's not fair.
Actually, yeah.
Very
much so, yeah.
And that's not fair to you, right? Like, it's okay to say you did the best with what you had. I really needed this and I didn't get it. Right? Like, those two can both be true. Like, I love you. I appreciate everything that you did. I am not an ungrateful child. I am not criticizing you. I'm just saying I needed this. And to this day, I still feel the vacancy and void of that, right? It becomes an opportunity for you. Like, if I were to give you any kind of feedback, I would say you really, really, like, you have to create. You don't have to do anything, but I would recommend that you create quiet time for yourself at least once a week. I mean, I'd do it on the daily, but to start yourself in, because you're a runner, right? Like, just keep busy, just keep doing, right? I would create quiet time. If that looks like literally like coloring with kids' crayons or playing with Play-Doh or writing in a journal or something, like I think that, in fact, I'm so certain you'd be shocked at what comes out for you if you actually sat with the journal for 10 minutes, like held still for 10 minutes, nobody else around, you and your laptop or you and a piece of paper or, you know, whatever journaling looks like for you, and just spent 10, 15 minutes just writing whatever, just whatever comes to your mind, whatever comes up. I think that you put you and whatever your concerns are on the back burner. Like, you have goals, you have structured things that you're working on, you have your income, you have friendships and socializing. Those are all surface. That's all. And that's not phony. I don't mean surface like not without depth. That's just all that's the dolphins, you know, like they're doing their cute little heart-shaped formation before they get in the water. Pictures. Yeah, right? It's fully that, you know, that's all genuine. Like, that first foot forward that you do of being outgoing and warm and friendly, that's genuine. That is not a lie. And I'll tell you, I've seen signatures where that is the lie. Like, you are so full of it. If you got any phonier, you'd be a $3.50 bill, right? Like,
oh my gosh, thank
goodness. You'd be the $9.75 bill, right? But, like, seriously, you are completely genuine. That is you. But it's like the really good stuff, you got to work for that. We don't give that away for free. That's got to be earned, right? And that's how you show up too. That your money, your car, like, what do you need? What do I need to get you to where you need to go? Like, if someone in your life, like when you said, I love that, the wolf pack, but who's in your balloon, who's on the boat, if they need something, there's nothing for you that's off limits. Like, literally. Like, if, like, I'm talking like, okay, in Oregon, how are we going to do this? Wait, I got two, right? Okay, let me see how we're going to do this. Okay, I got a clean living. Okay, here we go. Let's do it. Right? No, like, no, I mean that literally. I mean that literally.
I think you're spot on. I think I would do that for my, like, drive-by with blood. Kidney.
Yeah. No joke. And that's about how tender-hearted you are. It's also about, like, the way that you have sort of carefully screened, right? Because it's so easy to be liked for the, like, you know, that some of your gifts, like sense of humor, just the charisma, the personality, those things are just always who you were. And some part of you feels like it's like complimenting someone for being born with the genes that make them super tall, right? Like, you know, when you go up to Shaquille and you go, wow, man, nice job being tall. Like, what did he do? He ate and grew up, right? Like, and I'm not knocking him because he sure has got more athleticism than I'll ever have, right? But some part of you feels like these are things you were just naturally inherently born with. It's who you are, right? But what you have and what you surround yourself with and what you've been looking for are people who love you for all things that you do control, for the parts of you that have been a deliberate choice. So in the face of a really difficult childhood, that you are kind-hearted, that what motivates you are some really admirable things, that you have a really clear moral compass about what's an acceptable behavior and what isn't, and why. Like a real genuine, like this is good, this is not good. Yeah, like big time, like it bothers you. So more than what anyone else thinks about you, it's what you think about you. Like if you're ever disappointing you, that rankles, that comes back like food that repeats, like the worst smell in the garbage can. You gotta like, I have to clean this out now. There's no getting past this. I'm like, yeah, I don't even know any other analogy to like really truly. And when you're self-critical, there's just no winning. And you need to be a little nicer in that way with your internal dialogue. Give yourself permission to, so cliche, but to not be okay. Like give yourself permission to come up for air a little bit and not keep sprinting all the time in how you deal with things, right? Like, if you have too much free time, that's a problem. I'd be curious to see how you did during full lockdown. Like if Zoom was your best friend, you're like, put something else on the. No, I mean that's a little exaggeration, but only a little bit, right? Like, you have to be engaged. Part of it's just your thirst for learning and just your enjoyment of people, and part of it's like if I hold still, it'll get me, right? It'll get me. I sit too long with my thoughts, and things will get me. Like, I love this. I just love this. You don't forget. So you remember really clearly from really young, like smells that room, music that was playing, furniture that was around, like everything, like who was present, right? That's not to say that you sometimes wish you couldn't. You know what I mean? Like some part of you wishes you could let go of certain things, you know? Let's go back for just a second about being private.
Okay.
So it's not so much, I don't think you particularly care to be vulnerable. Some people, it's a comfortable place for them, for lack of a better word. Like, okay, we're going to be vulnerable now. I'm embracing this. I'm going to just float and it'll be fine, right? Like, there's lots of areas of your life that you don't give a flying flip about. But those areas that are like held down, yeah, we're not playing that game. This is not open for public consumption. Like, so part of it is about, is someone trustworthy? Not because they're going to use it against you or whatever, but you've had people who are fan club. Let's just be honest, right? So they get in your space because they like your charisma, they like the way you look, or whatever it is that's drawn them to you, right? And they're not looking at you, right? Like all this, it's the packaging. It's like creating this really great gift, right? Because you're not going to give a garbage gift, like Christmas or someone's birthday, right? You go like all out, right? And you're like, man, this is right? Tiffany's, they're not stupid. They know how to market, right? You see that turquoise and white box coming, you were like, jewelry, God loves me, right? Like it's coming, right? They knew how to brand, right? So you package that box, you do all the beautiful things, but the point of all of that is presentation of the really good gift. And the really good gift is only what's inside. It is not the turquoise box with the big white ribbon. Because if we price that crap out, it'd probably be $3, right? Right? Because they probably, you know what I'm saying? Like sincerely. So part of it for you is that, like, you've had people in your life who are charmed by the gifts that you've been given, who your personality is, these other things. And those are genuine, like, it's beautiful. Look at the packaging. It's great. We procured to make it so, but it was so that you could get the gift. And what's the gift? That you are loyal, that you are quick to show up for people even that you don't care for, that you are slow even if you make a judgment to voice it and to criticize, that you would sacrifice at your own personal loss to a degree that may not always be good for you.
Spot.
Right? Like seriously, like to like sometimes have had a hard time to say no, even to people you don't particularly care for, which is why all these warm acquaintances are like, we're friends. And you're like, Yes, we are. Yes, we are. You could, and it's not insincere, right? But it's the depth of friendship, right? And it's why you don't share with the masses, and it's why sometimes the people who know things are just because they were the people who were there when things happen, or not too long after, right? Or they're there to help you pick up your personal emotional pieces. It's about what if I got burned? Are you still love me if I don't look like I look, or if I don't function the way I used to, or I'm not coping well today, or I'm not your entertainment, or I'm not your, like, what you're looking for is people who are just like, yeah, you need to get out. Come on, let's go, right? And they're while you're having their back, they're having yours, right? Versus I've got your back and you've got your back. You know what I mean? Who's got mine? Well, we don't know, right? Smart. So, how much? Do you have a 4-year degree?
I do.
Do you have a master's?
I don't. I thought about it heavily.
You might want to think about that.
Go to law school or get an MBA. And do a program right now.
Well, you got just the intellectual capacity is so there. And it's kind of waste if you don't. Can I just say that? Okay, I should on you. There we go. I did it. But seriously, the intellect, the capacity, and also the empowerment, right? Like you're not settled in what you're doing right now. You keep flitting and fluttering from one thing to another. You've not settled. I don't know what you do for a living, but you have not completely settled. Like it might be paying the bills, but you are not in love with it. I'm sorry, did I say that? Okay, I'm just saying. You are not committed to her, whatever that is. It's not,
Interesting.
Yeah, an optimist. I should say a reluctant optimist. You were like, yeah, I should be braced. I should be braced for the impact. I should, like, you're like, and you yet deep down inside, you're like, no, there will be a happy ending. I will get it, like, in any given moment, not just in one thing overall, right? Like, I think part of you is like, I should be more jaded than this. And it's like, no, embrace the hope. I think everything in our world seems set to try to suck the hope out of us. You know what I mean? All this. Okay, so here's the other thing. I hate this because we're in a world, I don't want to step on anyone's toes or offend, but I'll just use my terminology for lack of better. You are definitely in touch with your feminine side. You have no problems with whatever, like, it's a complete security because you're just going to do what you're going to do. But, like, there's this, in that space of what I was talking about being really open and great, everything's open until it's not, and that little box is like, that's my lock box. If you don't have a key, step off, right?
My feminine side?
Is it, no, your feminine side is like whatever, it's playing, it's dancing, right? Like you own who you are. There's no like, if you had a niece or nephew or kids who wanted to paint, you're just like, yeah, paint my nails, I don't care. It's like, that's what nail polish remover's for. Unless you do a good job, then I might leave it, right? Like, but you are in touch with your feminine side, like in every way. So like, also to the emotional conversation, like, your close friends, you're not close friends who want to lean on you, and they're like not doing well, and they're crying and they're breaking down, and you're like, okay, as long as you're not making me cry, we can do this. We can do this. We're fine. Nausea, crying, no joke. Anyway, sorry, but I just overall, like, that's a big thing for you in that way. Like, you have no expectations that way from other people. You have no preconceived notions or judgments. You don't. And in that way, you are very just flexible, fluid. Like, it's, yeah, what are we doing? All right. When you're not comfortable, I think the other neat thing is that you're comfortable just saying, yeah, I'm not, that doesn't do it for me. I'm not comfortable. And I mean that just like that. All the layers on, I'm not comfortable on that. Yeah, we'll leave that there.
Wait, there's more?
Are you kidding me? I just don't know, like...
Break me down. Yes, let's do if you want to. If you still, if you feel
no. I just, I think some of it too is like, okay, so let's go there. So you have a hard time believing compliments, right? So people say things to you and you just blow it off. You do, again, the gracious, appropriately, socially appropriate thing, right? But you're like, whatever, bullshit. Okay, keep moving, right? Like, Because it's not, right? You think they're stuck on Band-Aid because Band-Aid's stuck on. It's just the packaging. Okay, it's not Tiffany's. Just keep moving, right? But
Very
really, yeah, no, trust me. I got your signature. I know. What really speaks to you is touch. So someone gets in your space and is like, instead of saying, "How are you doing, Stacey?" Right? Like it's just get in his space, rub on his back, center him, walk up to him, give him a hug, right? Ground him, like I'm gonna grab you and hold you down, and you're like, "Thank you, Jesus." Like, okay, we're gonna be okay now, right? Like literally,
That is my love language.
no,
I feel the
in
most
every
is,
way.
like, touch.
And so physical intimacy, same thing, right? So sometimes you've used it as like really nice anesthesia to get you through what's going emotionally, and you're like, I just need to not think. And you look like someone good to not think with, right? But no judgment. That not think, yeah, absolutely. So in that way, physical touch, like it's the spectrum for you, right? Sometimes it's a really healthy healing thing when a friend comes up and instead of asking, just gives you hugs, just shows up, just gets in your space, just touches on you in a really healthy emotional way. And then sometimes it's like they just touch on you in a really healthy emotional way, right? No, but there's that, like you have used it that way, and that doesn't make you wrong. It just means like an awareness, right? Because then afterwards, it is one of your deepest like ways to connect to someone, and then you just feel bad. Then you just feel bad because it wasn't meaningful. It was just anesthesia, right? Like it just like pop a pill, have a moment, right? Like, and that's hard, right? That's hard because again, that's your ground zero, right? Like touch that's a big deal. It's in someone's space. You are so like, it's interesting. Oh, that's another important thing. Things don't matter to you. I mean, like you like nice things. Let me be really clear. And you appreciate beautiful things like well-designed, art museum, high art, like beautiful things. But it's not about things. Like if someone shows up for you when you can't show up for yourself and they didn't ask, they're just watching and they're like, okay, that's what Stacey needs. I'm bringing that. That's what we're doing, right? And you're moving and you need dinner and they're like, and we're packing boxes and dinner. Yeah, I already ordered that. Yeah, it's coming. DoorDash coming, or they send something. No, it's like it's not about things. It's about like energy spent. It's about like I'm not doing well, and you just get in my space and rub my back, and I'm like can breathe again. And this is what I'm talking about when you just get kind of like that hamster on the wheel, right? Like kind of on autopilot, just doing, and all the emotions start building up till you don't even realize that you're not doing well. You're just. Everything's elevated, your stress level, your emotions, your everything, and you're just keep moving. It's like, no, wait, let's get grounded here for a second. You might be able to breathe again. Even like we can take you out of the stratosphere for a second and let you breathe, right? And so not things, time, touch, time noticing you. I see you. I see you. Here's what you need. I see you. I see what you need. I'm mindful of what you need. I love you because I'm aware of what you need. Yeah, that's money. What people say too, when they say things that are more than just the surface compliments, and those other things, they mean well, right? Yeah. Which is why you don't ever try to make someone else feel bad. They mean well. That there's sincerity behind it. It just doesn't reach the part of you that is like a desert, like thirsty for true compliments, right? So some of what I'm saying has mattered because it's like, no, you really do see me. This is like, you don't know me, but you no, I don't know you, but you know you. And the really nice thing about graphology is that what you think about you comes out, not just the criticism, but the good stuff too. That you are loyal, that you are kind, that you would rather just not say it, or if they want the truth, try to deliver it as kindly as possible, right? Try to, and not fluff it up, but like, there's a way to share the truth that's not like, here, let me just slide this knife between your ribs, right? Like, there's a way to be like, I'm not interested in dating you, but I'm not really interested in dating anyone right now, right? And that's kind of true for you too. Like, there's been several situations where it's like, it's not particularly you. I'm just not in a place that commitment feels like a safe spot. It feels more like a jail cell. So Sorry, it's not you. It's me. Really. Literally. Wow, that's the worst cliche, right?
Interesting.
But, like intellect. Yeah, you need some more challenges that way. Like that MBA
girl,
thing.
I hope you're right.
No, because you haven't. It's there. No, it's there. Especially because, man, if you decided like, oh no, I'm doing all A's. This is me. I'm just here in this place. You'd be dangerous. Just a little bit. I'm not. Yeah. You're very so remembering things, right? Memorizing things. All of that. Yeah, when that's what you decide you want to do, all sorts of things, right? Be kind to you. Be kind to you. There are things that you do to take care of you, like self-care and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. And you know that's not what I'm talking about. Like, you need to ask more of what you really want. You haven't asked enough lately. You've just been doing what you need to do. And you've been happy enough. Like, but you haven't asked, what do I really want? What do I really need? You've just been pushing the ball up, right? Pushing the ball up. Just keep moving, right? Instead of like, wait. Why am I pushing the ball? What was that? Did I want to push the ball? Maybe I want to let it roll downhill and do something different. Did I want to climb the hill? Or what was I? What was I like? And in so many ways, but the bottom line really is about you're a goal. Like, you have specific things you'd like to accomplish. You have things that for you are a measure of your success. But are those things also the things that make you happy? And I think sometimes they aren't. They're just things to distract you and keep you busy, right? You definitely, in relationships, you need someone who's a challenge, who's like, yeah, you're cute. You want your gold star? Yes, you're hot. So what? So, I don't care.
I think I do.
Like,
I don't know.
No, you do. You like a little challenge. If it's too easy, you're like, kid, you see the other kid as a kid. You'd see another kid playing with their toy and be like, they look really attached to that toy. That must be a good toy. That must be a really good toy. The moment they said that toy, I'm going to go pick that toy up. You watch. You see, I'm going to get that toy. And then you do. And then you're like, I don't know what they were so attached to this toy for. It wasn't all that. And I don't mean, no. Okay, let's break that down in real talk, right? But
I think I see what you mean, though.
But like, sometimes somebody who seems a little unobtainable, right? I think you sometimes, yes, and you do that and you pick that in a person to try to get with and to date, not because you really want to get with someone and date, because you would just be looking for what makes me feel safe, connected, warm, like a real connection, versus like, what's a challenge? Hey. Mount Everest. I see you. I need to climb you. Mount Everest? Yeah. Do you see the difference?
Yeah, you're saying I do the Mount Everest versus
yeah, oftentimes
gotcha.
You pick Mount Everest versus like, hey, what's gonna connect? What's gonna be satisfying, right? Because I don't know that you've decided that you're ready for a relationship yet. So that's the self-sabotage, right? Like, if I just keep picking Mount Everest, there's gonna be some peak that's higher to climb than this, right? Like some different kind of challenge, right? Doesn't have to be the same kind of thing. I'm just using this silly metaphor, right? But I think sometimes you pick people who have certain aspects that are difficult to date, or that hard to get isn't the word, but just, that make themselves a challenge in certain ways. It's like, don't take this for granted. Oh, did you think? Don't take this for granted. You got to work for this. Oh, did you think you were in? No, we're still working on this. Right? You need some of that. And some of it's just because, I'll say this, in fairness to you. Okay. Some of it is because you have a strong personality. So you're like, if they don't push back, I'm just going to mow over them.
I've said those exact words.
Right? Like, I got to have some give and take here. So if they don't give me a little bit of grief or something to let me know there's life on the other planet, like on the other side of this, like, that's your way of saying, okay, I won't just charisma my way out of this. I really have to show up for this, right? So in fairness, there is some of that, and I think that's appropriate. But there's also this other side of doing what you do so that you, how do I word this? Like, so that it's just the challenge and it's just the game and enjoyment of it. And it's not insincere. The attraction's real. The appeal is real. But it's not the depth that's going to stick. Because you're not sure if you want to stick yet.
This is so interesting because I don't know if I have that mindset, but as you're talking about it, I'm like, I should look at dating like that. I'm like, oh, the challenge does sound like it would be really fun and like the game would be interesting. Oh, man. But I think by that virtue of that, I'm getting clocked. I'm like, oh, interesting.
No, but I just think that like who pulls your interest, right? Subconsciously, I think sometimes you just pick the challenge versus the connection. And I get some of it, like I said, some of it is motivated by if you don't have enough backbone to tell me no, and that's part of what you do, right? Like, let's see what I can get away with. How much of a doormat can I make you be? And they maybe not be that way in most of their relationships, but with you, it was like, he was just so charismatic. Like, oh my goodness. No means no. Come on now. Let's do this. Right? Like, and that most of that's internal dialogue. People aren't going to necessarily talk to you that way, although it wouldn't be a far stretch to see that. That would actually make me laugh. But I mean, so some of it is, like I said, you're looking for someone who has a backbone who can be like, no, here are healthy boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Like, I care about you. I'm really into you. Not your doormat. Like, if we got into a relationship, it's a relationship. If you can't call it that, that's okay. But I'm going this way, right? And then you're like, wait, where are you going? I might be going that way too, just in case you were wondering, because that's someone who's got a backbone, right? That part's healthy, but part of it is like, have you even done? I hate like grocery list. Have you done what you're looking for? Have you written down what it is you really need? Because that, for me, I gotta say, some of what you do is you've considerable energy. Like, you could do a nonprofit organization. You could do a lot of things. There are a lot of things that you see that bother you that you want to fix and make better. But you spend a lot of energy not holding still instead of actively working on the things that your considerable intellect has brought to you. So there are times that you see situations and things you're like, that is not okay. That needs to be made better. I'm like, you, I see you. You can make it better. You are uniquely poised to make it better, right?
Well, confidence boost.
no, sincerely, right? Be quiet or be sincere. Be kind with your honesty, but be quiet or be sincere, right? So you are uniquely poised with the kind of gifts that you've been given, with what you have as a personality, with what you have as your personal talents, the confidence, the ability to speak in front of people, to do some of these things that you do, right? The enjoyment of being the center of attention in a comfortable way, right? So, right, that's a good thing, right? That's not always bad, because if you have to get up and speak in front of people, number one fear in the United States for adults, probably the whole world, to be quite honest. Fear of speaking in public. Not your problem.
Not my fear. No,
Right? Fear. No. Okay, so here you are, uniquely poised to be an advocate, to speak to whatever it is that floats your boat. And that matters to you, all these different things, right? And I think lately you just haven't been asking enough of what it is you need in the right way. Like, okay, you've been using all this energy in all these different directions. How about if we hold still and whatever it is, and only you know. I mean, I could conjecture because I've been doing this long enough, but that's irrelevant. It's you, right? What have you been running from?
Right.
And why you keep spending all that energy. Man, it's a little, Forrest Gump. Stop running. So let's stop running and let's find out what we need to resolve, right? And then just get peaceful with it.
Oh, it's so
and then now all this energy and considerable can go towards what it is you want to build. Because building things hasn't been necessarily relationships, right? Those are things you're willing to build, right? Because they're portable. You don't have to get too claustrophobic in relationships. They don't hold you down. That's portable. I can call you from Spain and Cucamonga and wherever I decide to go. Right? That's so good. Like, there's so much about you. And you're doing well. You can do better. Can I say that? And
I
not
like
be,
that. I like
but
that.
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm like,
because you are doing well,
challenge.
but you can still do better. And part of it's because of the energy that you spend not addressing things. Just keep them busy, having fun versus getting somewhere. You know, like a little kid. My oldest daughter, when she was little, would have a hard time going to sleep. And we'd have family over late, and we're lots of different ethnic groups in my little household. And we'd be late, and we'd be eating, we'd be doing whatever. And I'd see her just run around like a whirling dervish. She just could not hold still. And I'd grab her, and her dad would say, "Oh, she just wants to stay up and enjoy family." I'm like, "No, she can't put herself to sleep." And I'd grab her, and I'd just put her on my shoulder. That was not even a minute. And she was just out. And it was because she just didn't know how to get stopped, get still. And the moment that happened, I'd take her in the bedroom, change her, put her to sleep. That was it. She was down for the night, right? She just couldn't somehow hold still, right? Like, can you watch these little kids? They're wound up, right? And you get a hold of them, you hold them, they're knocked out, right? It doesn't make you wrong. It's just how you've been coping, right? It's just how you've been handling it. The question is, I think that you're ready to have something to show for it, for all your energy and your effort. I think you're ready to have something more.
That is very spot on, where I'm like, yes, I'm actually like thinking about that, where I'm like, I should start my own company.
Right, like
or
a lot of
three,
things.
actually.
Yeah, well, right, and here's the intellect, the capacity, the personality, right? And those people then that you trust have different skill sets, right? So there's just a lot open to you. And I don't know you, but I'm telling you, you have a lot of possibilities and a lot of things open to you. You know that you can pivot very easily in a lot of different directions. And the question is, no one dares step forward and tell you go this direction, because that's the moment you'll bolt, right? That's the moment you're running for the hills, right? Only you can tell you, right? That's someone else commanding to you, someone else telling you how, when, and where does not sit well with you. It triggers your internal claustrophobia. Like and it's the same thing. Like, you give that mutual respect. You're not there trying to make someone else do something you don't want to do. Like, you're not, and that's never been a problem for you. You know, you persuade, right? You say, it would be great if we did this. I'm like, you dangerous little boy. You don't even know what you're doing. Please, for the love. Any questions?
I think that's been very thorough. I'm gonna have a lot to chew on. I'm excited.
No. You're so good. Truly, no.
You're so kind.
No, I'm honest. Oh, I've seen people who've done horrible things think they're so smooth, like they know how to hide things, right? Like, I do believe in God. That's just who I am. That is my belief system. But whatever you do or don't believe in, your actions become a magnet, and what you do, you draw back to, right? So I am very careful with what I say, because I'm offended by anything but the truth. I will say this: where much is given, much is required. Not expected, required. And so you have a voice, and you have a capacity, and you have all these gifts and talents, and you have the drive, and the desire is within you to do good things. Now you need to direct yourself. It is not enough to spin the top. It's now you got to use the drive. The car is filled. The tires are good. Yeah, you got a journey. Now you need to take it, right?
Can we do one of those 80s fadeaway where it's like, Stacey went on to be a CEO and like,
right?
ended world hunger.
Right? I feel you.
Oh,
I dare you. This is good.
that's
I'm
so
gonna
good.
watch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you kidding? Thank you for like taking that time.
Are you? Oh, this is good.
I know. Do you like hug after?
I did. Yeah, I will. I'll totally give you a hug.
Oh, you're too kind.
Hey, thanks for watching. Remember, if you liked what you saw today, remember to like and subscribe. And until we see each other again, be good to yourself and be good to your people.